Imagine a soldier racing through a battlefield, scanning every corner for hidden threats. Suddenly, his partner halts, ears perked, muscles tight. The soldier freezes, knowing that his companion has just detected something no machine, no radar, and no human could have ever sensed in time. That partner isn't another soldier. It's a dog. But not just any dog. This is the result of decades of secret training programs, specialized breeding, and missions so dangerous and classified that only fragments of their stories have ever made it to the public. By the end of this video, you'll discover how the U.S. military transformed ordinary dogs into warriors capable of saving countless lives and carrying out missions that sound like they belong in a Hollywood thriller. And trust me, some of the jaw-dropping things these dogs have done will leave you stunned. Long before modern technology took over, armies across history recognized the power of dogs. Ancient civilizations used them as guardians, hunters, and even weapons in battle. But when the United States military began experimenting with dogs during World War II, they weren't just looking for brute strength. They were searching for loyalty, intelligence, and instincts that could be sharpened into tools of war. At first, the concept was met with skepticism. Could dogs really be trained to sniff out bombs, detect enemies in the dead of night, or parachute into combat zones? The answers would come in ways no one could have predicted, especially in one mission where a single dog's actions changed the course of battle. We'll get to that story soon, but first, you need to understand just how deeply the military went into crafting the perfect canine soldier. Training a military working dog isn't like teaching your pet to sit or roll over. These programs push dogs to the absolute edge of their natural abilities. Imagine a German Shepherd or a Belgian Malinois navigating a mock village, gunfire blasting in the background, smoke grenades filling the air, soldiers shouting commands. And through it all, the dog doesn't flinch. Every movement, every scent, every sound is analyzed with laser precision. What's more fascinating is that these dogs aren't only trained to obey, they're taught to think. Unlike robots or drones, a dog can improvise in chaotic environments, making split-second decisions that could mean the difference between life and death. But here's where things get even more intriguing. Many of these dogs are so valuable that the U.S. military considers them on par with human soldiers. They even carry ranks, and in some cases, the dogs outrank their handlers. Why? You'll see why in a moment. And it's a detail that surprises nearly everyone. One of the most astonishing aspects of this transformation lies in the senses of these dogs. Scientists estimate that a dog's sense of smell is up to 100,000 times stronger than a human's. Imagine being able to detect a single teaspoon of sugar dissolved in 2 Olympic-sized swimming pools. Now imagine that ability turned into a weapon against hidden explosives, enemy movements, or even narcotics trafficking. Dogs have saved soldiers from walking straight into ambushes and prevented convoys from being destroyed by roadside bombs simply by catching the faintest trace of danger. And if you think that's impressive, wait until you hear about the dogs that were trained to leap out of planes with special harnesses and night vision gear. Yes, you heard that right. Dogs that skydive. One of the most gripping real-life accounts involves the elite Navy SEAL Team 6, the same team that conducted the raid against Osama bin Laden. Alongside those soldiers was a dog named Cairo. This dog wasn't just tagging along. He had his own role, equipped with body armor, cameras, and sensors that allowed him to enter buildings first, scout out threats, and provide intel in ways no human soldier could. What Cairo did on that night remains shrouded in secrecy, but reports confirm he played a critical role in securing the compound. The fact that such a high-stakes mission relied on a dog speaks volumes about just how far the U.S. military has pushed canine capabilities. And Cairo isn't alone. There are dozens of other stories equally jaw-dropping where dogs have turned the tide of battle. Some of these stories, however, end with heart-wrenching sacrifice. And in just a bit, I'll share the tale of a dog whose loyalty in the middle of combat went beyond anything you'd expect. The bond between handler and dog is unlike any other relationship in the military. Handlers describe it as a connection built on absolute trust. Picture this: a soldier walking into a potentially booby-trapped building. His life depends entirely on the nose, the instincts, and the silent signals of the dog at his side. If the dog alerts, the soldier stops, no questions asked. If the dog presses forward, the soldier follows. It's such a powerful connection that many handlers admit they trust their dogs more than they trust human teammates. And when you hear about the emotional reunions between handlers and their retired dogs, often years later, you'll realize that these aren't just working partners, they're family. But not every dog makes it home, and some of the stories of loss are among the most emotional in all of military history. To understand how deeply the military values these animals, consider this: when a dog is injured in combat, they receive medical care on par with human soldiers. Medics are trained specifically to treat canine injuries, and helicopters have been deployed in the middle of firefights just to evacuate an injured dog. Why go to such lengths? Because these dogs are considered irreplaceable assets. Losing one could mean losing the lives of dozens of soldiers. And yet, the military doesn't see them as mere tools. They see them as warriors. Some dogs have even been awarded medals of honor, draped with ribbons and ceremonies that mirror those given to humans. One dog named Lucca completed over 400 missions without a single human casualty. On her final mission, she lost a leg to an IED. She survived, retired, and lived the rest of her life as a celebrated veteran. Stories like hers redefine what it means to be a hero. But here's where things take an unexpected turn. While many imagine these dogs as fierce, intimidating animals, off the battlefield, they can be surprisingly gentle. Handlers describe them as playful, affectionate, and goofy when they're off duty. The same dog that stormed an enemy compound could, hours later, curl up and fall asleep in a soldier's lap. This duality, fearless warrior and loyal friend, is what makes military working dogs so extraordinary. And yet behind the scenes, there are ongoing debates about their future. With the rise of advanced drones, artificial intelligence, and robotic machines, some argue that dogs may eventually be phased out. But many experts believe no machine will ever replicate the instincts, adaptability, and loyalty of a living, breathing canine partner. So the question remains: in a world racing towards automation and high-tech warfare, will dogs continue to hold their place on the battlefield? Or will they become relics of a different era? What's certain is that their legacy is already carved into history. From parachuting into combat zones to saving entire platoons from hidden explosives, these dogs have proven themselves time and time again as not just man's best friend, but as the military's most trusted allies. And if the stories we've uncovered today are any indication, the role of dogs in warfare is not just a tale of training and strategy. It's a story of courage, sacrifice, and a bond so unbreakable it can withstand even the fires of war.